Good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the smart device application Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Xander, and you are you, and today is Thor's Day, also known as Thursday, July 14th, 2022. What happened today in history, you may ask? Well, I have the answer. Reading from the highlighted sections of onthisday.com, starting us off in the year 1535, we have Emperor Charles V. He conquered Tunis. Jumped on up into 1570, Pope Pius V introduced a standardized Roman Missal, the text of the Latin Mass, a reform of the Council of Trent. He will remain unchanged. This will remain unchanged for 400 years. Dang. You know your stuff's good when it lasts for a long time. 1789, Bastille Day. The French Revolution began with the storming of the Bastille prison in Paris, now celebrated as France's National Day. Oh, happy National Day, France. I've been seeing some stuff about that on several Discord servers, actually, this morning. 1790, the Fête de la Fédération, attended by Louis the 16th and Marie Antoinette, was held across France on the first anniversary of the French Revolution. Ooh. Dang, that's that's a bit of an ominous foreshadowing, because we all know what happened to, King Louis and especially Marie Antoinette. Let them eat cake. 1791, the Priestley riots drove Joseph Priestley, a supporter of the French Revolution, out of Birmingham, England. Ah, those Brits don't much like the French. Yep. 1853, U.S. President Franklin Pierce opened World Fair, the exhibition of the industry of all nations in New York. Cool. Man, dude, like I think they're still going, because I was watching a video about the World's Fairs, and they're not really called World's Fairs anymore, but they still are going on during our times. Like, I think there was one in 2020 actually. I don't know. Anyway, moving on up into 1870, the United States Congress granted Marie Todd Lincoln a life pension in the amount of $3,000 a year. Wow, that's pretty cool. I can figure out a way to live off of that in today's money, Not well, but, I can eck by. 1914, U.S. engineer Robert Goddard was granted the first patent for liquid-fueled rocket design. Ooh. That's interesting. 1934, New York Times erroneously declared Babe Ruth's 700 home run record to stand for all time. Huh. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a lot of home runs, but, when technology, increases and unfortunately all the steroid crap, thank you, Barry Bonds and company, it's really just shook baseball, not well. 1938, Benito Mussolini published an anti-Jewish African manifesto. Okay, that's kind of odd, but, I mean, Italy did have a lot of, ownership in many African nations. They had a lot of colonies. 1946, Cleveland's Lou Boudreau hit 4 doubles and a home run, but the Red Sox won with 11-10 on Ted Williams' 3 home run with 8 RBIs. What's an RBI? You know what? Let me look that up. What's an RBI? RBI. Runs batted in. Okay, I still don't know what that means, but whatever. 1946 as well, Dr. Benjamin Spock's Common Sense Book of Baby and Child Care was published. Huh. Dr. Spock. 1948, Palmiro Togliatti, leader of the Italian Communist Party, was shot near to the Italian parliament in an assassination attempt. Hey, what's wrong with me? Why can't I read? My brain's just weird today. Moving on up into 1953, the first U.S. national monument was dedicated to The first U.S. national monument dedicated to a black U.S. citizen to preserve the boyhood home of agricultural scientist and inventor George Washington Carver in Newton County, Missouri. Nice. 1958, 5 years later, 1958, Pope Pius XII published his 39th and last encyclical, Meminici Juvat. What is that? Let me check that out here. Juvat. Asking for prayers for the persecuted church in the East and criticizing harmful cultural developments in the West. He asked for a novena of prayer preceding the Feast of the Assumption. Alright, I'm going to add this into the underbar. Let's see. Add it. Alright, what else happened on this date in history? Sports history, 1963, the 50th Tour de France, French cyclist Jacques Anquetil won his third consecutive general classification event, the first rider to win Tour 4 times. Wow, it's pretty cool. 1968, brave Hank Aaron hit his 500th home run off San Francisco Giant Mike McCormick. 1969, Easy Rider, directed by Dennis Hopper, starring himself, Peter Fonda, and Jack Nicholson, was released. Wow, I really am scrambled in the brain today. What is going on? Ay. Anyway, moving on up into 1970, the 41st MLB All-Star Game at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio. National League defeated American League 5-4. Most valuable player is Carl Yastrzemski of the Boston Red Sox, LF. Left field, I think. 1973, Phil Everly stormed off stage at Knott's Berry Farm in Buena Park, California, and declared an end to the Everly Brothers. The show was planned as their last, his exit improvised. Oh man, he's mad. 1 year later, 1974, Billy Martin was the first AL manager ejected by umpire from 2 games in 1 day. Oh, damn. What did you do? The American League. God damn, dude, what did you do? 2 years later, 1976, Democratic Convention in New York City nominated former Georgia Governor Jimmy Carter for president and U.S. Senator Walter Mondale from Minnesota for vice president. 1984, New Zealand snap election. David Langes' Labour Party defeated Robert Muldoon's National Party. I think I need to start reading slower. I don't know. In 1986, Paul McCartney released a single Press from the album Press to Play. Oh, cool. It came with instructions. 1986, as well, U.S. Open Women's Golf at NCR Country Club. Jane Geddes won by 2 strokes in an 18-hole Monday playoff with South African-born Sally Little. 1987, All-Star MVP was Tim Raines of the Montreal Expos. Also, 1987, Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North, Ollie North, concluded 6 days of congressional testimony. And if you are wondering why I keep doing that, just search American Dad, Ollie North, and then you'll understand. Also, 1987, Rookie of the Year award was renamed to honor Jackie Robinson. Nice. 365 days later, in 1988, Mike Schmidt passed Mickey Mantle with his 537th home run into 7th place. 1 year later, 1989, the film When Harry Met Sally was released, starring Billy Crystal, Meg Ryan, directed by Rob Reiner, and written by Nora Ephron. Well, we have a historic event in 1992. 386 BSD was released by Lynn Jolitz and William Jolitz, starting the open source operating system revolution. Linus Torvalds released Linux soon afterwards. The birth of Linux. Well, happy birthday, Linux. 1992 as well, All-Star MVP Ken Griffey Jr. of the Seattle Mariners. Yeah, Ken Griffey Jr., another, I think he was a doper. Steroids. I don't know. I don't pay attention to sports stuff. Whenever I think of, 90s baseball, I think they all did it. I'm not sure. But I know a good chunk of them did. 1996 Senior Players Championship Men's Golf, TPC of Michigan. Raymond Floyd won the first of 2 event titles by 2 strokes from Hale Irwin. Moving on up into the 2000s. In 2002, French President Jacques Chirac escaped an assassination attempt unscathed during a Bastille Day celebrations. Wow, what did you do, dude? Wasn't there another assassination attempt? Was it a French guy too? There was another assassination attempt today, right? Somewhere. Yeah, Italian. So, yep. Where were we? 2008, The Dark Knight, directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Christian Bale and Heath Ledger, premiered in New York. You know, may you rest in peace, Heath Ledger. You remain, if not the best, easily one of the best Joker performances ever. Your method may have killed you, but the results don't make up for it. But hopefully they were what you were aiming for. 2010, 18th ESPY Awards, Drew Brees, Lindsey Vonn won. Or Vaughn won, okay. 2015, Harper Lee's second novel, Go Set a Watchman, an early 1957 version of To Kill a Mockingbird, went on sale in 70 countries. Cool. Harper Lee. I recognize that name. Great author. 2018, more than 300 people now reported killed in protests against government of President Daniel Ortega of Nicaragua. 2018 as well, U.S. President Donald Trump called the European Union a trade foe in an interview with CBS, the Central Broadcasting System. What is CBS? CBS even stand for? Ahead of meeting with Russian President Putin. What does CBS stand for? Columbia Broadcasting System. Okay. Also in 2018, during Wimbledon women's tennis, Wimbledon is still swinging, isn't it? Pun intended. Angelique Kerber became the first German since Steffi Graf of 1996 to win Wimbledon, defeating Serena Williams 6-3, 6-3. Finally breaking out of 2018, in 2019, English Mercedes driver Lewis Hamilton won a record 6 British Formula 1 Grand Prix at Silverstone, moved him 1 win clear of Jim Clark and Alan Prost, 5, whatever 5 means. 2019 as well, Wimbledon men's tennis, Novak Djokovic won longest ever Wimbledon final over Roger Federer, 7-6, 1-6, 7-6, 4-6, 3-12 in 4 hours 57 minutes. His 16th Grand Slam title. Man, I cannot imagine, swinging, tennis rackets for like 4 hours and 57 minutes. That tennis elbow, hello, Anyway, before we move on into bursts, did you guys have any questions? Do you have any answers? What was your favorite article, today? Anything interesting? Open up a dialogue in the comments section. Keep the show going. Just because the video is over does not mean that, the discussion is. Anyway, 1868, in bursts, we have Gertrude Bell. She was a British archaeologist, Desert in the Sound, born in Washington Hall, County Durham in England, dying in 1926. In 1889, we have Ante Pavelic, was a Croatian leader of Nazi Germany puppet independent state of Croatia, born in Bradina, Austria-Hungary, dying in 1959. Not a good guy. A Croatian fascist leader. Ay, yay. William Hanna was born on this date in 1910. Hey, I know that name. American animator, or U.S. animator, Hanna-Barbera, Tom and Jerry, Scooby-Doo. Born in Melrose, New Mexico, dying in 2001. That's not that long ago. 21 years, so... 1913, Gerald Ford, also known as Leslie King. He was the 38th U.S. President, Republican Party, serving from 1974 through 77, and the 41st U.S. President, once again Republican Party, serving from 1973 to 74. Oh, wait, what? Oh, Vice President. Okay, so he was Vice President, and then he became President. He was born in Omaha, Nebraska, dying in 2006. Gerald Ford. In 1917, we have Ben Nwanwu, was a Nigerian painter, portrait of Tutu, born in Onitsha, Nigeria, dying in 1994. 1918, Ingmar Bergman was a Swedish stage and film director, Cries and Whispers. He was born in Uppsala, Sweden, dying in 2007. Who else died on this date? Jane Lynch, 1960, not died. Who else was born on this date? Wow, why am I already thinking about deaths? Jane Lynch was born on this date in 1960. She is a U.S. actress, best in show Glee, Two and a Half Men, Criminal Minds, a singer and a comedian born in Evergreen Park, Illinois. Jane Lynch. I've seen Two and a Half Men. So, what's her character? Let's see here. Oh, she's the, she's the angry bitch of an ex-wife. Okay. Alright. Who else was born on this date? Phoebe Waller-Bridge in 1985 is an English actress, writer, and director, Fleabag, born in London, England. Conor McGregor, hey, that guy from that new God of War movie that couldn't feel pain. Born on this date in 1988, he is an Irish mixed martial artist, third multi-divisional champion in UFC history, featherweight and lightweight, born in Dublin, Ireland. Yeah. Why is he mean-mugging the camera, though? Like, you're gonna punch the lens? Anyway, moving on into deaths. Billy the Kid, oh wow, died on this date in 1881. His actual name was William H. Bonney. He was an American frontier outlaw, shot by Sheriff Pat Garrett, and dies of gunshot wound at the age of 21. That's young. 1904, we lost Paul Kruger. He was the third president of South African Republic from 1883 to 1900. In the face of the Boer resistance during the Second Boer War, died of pneumonia at the age of 78. That's not bad. That's still pretty young, but like, you know, for that time, 78, it's, you're pretty up there. Really cool looking beard too. Adlai Stevenson II died on this date in 1965. He was a U.S. politician, the U.S. ambassador to the UN from 1961 to 65. He was also a governor of Illinois from 49 to 53. And he was a Democratic presidential candidate in 1952 and 1956. He died at the age of 65. Huh. Well, he tried. 2005, we lost Cicely Saunders, an English nurse, physician, and writer who founded the first modern hospice, dying of cancer herself at the age of 87. Man, you know, thank you for your contribution, Miss Saunders. Mrs. Saunders, whatever, Cicely, you know. And that concludes the show. Once again, you can check the underbar for any links that you may find interesting, including all stuff Omni Coalition. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day at 10 in the morning Pacific time. For all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander, and you're you. And until you catch us tomorrow, do not forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Until then, toodles. Let's go, Brandon.